Alright, Ronan MMA here. Welcome back to the channel. I just saw on Instagram, or perhaps it was YouTube, that Khamzat Chimaev has sent a message, or in other words, called out Robert Whittaker. This is a call out that I don't take as just hollow, because both of these men are not the type to turn down a fight. And if Khamzat Chimaev has actually decided that he's going to stay at 185, or go to 185, pardon me, and he wants to fight Robert Whittaker, I don't see Robert Whittaker saying no. And then I don't see the UFC saying no. So I think this is actually a fight that could potentially happen. So I want to talk about it and talk about how I think that fight will go, who would win, and all that good stuff. But before we get into that, I would ask you please to like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to thank you in advance, because that's the way Canadians roll. Okay, we say thanks and sorry all the time, perhaps ad nauseum, but I thank you very much for your subscription. It means a lot to me, and don't be the kind of guy that doesn't do the thing that he's already been thanked for. So thank you very much. Now, this this fight is extremely exciting to me. I truly hope it materializes. Robert Whittaker is one of the baddest men ever to live, ever. He has never been the type of guy to turn down a matchup, and I love the quote that he said in the cage after it, perhaps Kelvin Gastelum or Marvin Vettori, where he said, "I am the most dangerous guy in the division," because the way that he beats people at the time, the past champion Israel Adesanya was essentially beating the same guys, but not as much. Like Rob was, I can't swear yet because it's only been a couple minutes, but Rob was messing him up way worse than Izzy ever did. But with that being said, I want to talk about how this fight could potentially play out. I think that stylistically, honestly, this is a real badass call out from Khamzat Chimaev, because in my opinion, stylistically, Robert Whittaker might be the worst possible matchup at 185 for him. The reasons for that is because the Reaper may have the best takedown defense in all of MMA. And people will probably hate on that statement. I don't know, but his takedown defense is incredible. He may not have the best percentage of takedown defense, but when you see a guy who's got like 100% takedown defense, a lot of the times it's because guys don't really shoot on him. Like, how many times had Kamaru Usman honestly been shot on when they were going on about his 100% takedown defense? Probably not a whole lot. Robert Whittaker, in the first fight against Yoel Romero, I believe Yoel Romero attempted at least 8 takedowns in the first round. And I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, Bobby Knuckles may have hit the mat once and popped right back up. He is extremely fast to get back to his feet. He makes you work very hard for those takedowns. It's like demoralizing. You don't want to keep going for him because the guy's just going to pop right back up. With that being said, though, the thing that Khamzat has going for him in this fight, in my opinion, is that Robert Whittaker tends to be a bit of a slow starter. And as we know and we've seen, I don't know what that noise was that came out of my mouth, but we'll keep going. Khamzat is an extremely aggressive and an extremely fast starter. He comes at you right away, like as soon as the bell goes. And Robert Whittaker almost has to feel his way into the fight. We see it time and time again against Marvin Vettori, first round. I don't know if you could score it for Marvin. You might, but it was definitely not rounds 2 and 3. And Kelvin Gastelum, he kind of picked up as the fight went on. And in his first round, the first round against Israel Adesanya in their second fight, he got dropped, obviously. So it seems like he needs to kind of work his way into the fight. Whereas Khamzat Chimaev goes balls to the wall like a berserker. It's quite entertaining to watch, honestly. But Robert Whittaker is not going to be like Gerald Meerschaert. Gerald Meerschaert looked like a deer in headlights. He backed up right against the cage, terrified, like he had seen his school bully, like he was about to get tossed into a locker. Bobby Knuckles is not going to do that, though. The attack that he uses to keep range and fuck, my lights just flickered, bro. There's a crazy storm outside. I hope this doesn't. Hopefully we can get through this. He uses that hopping side kick to the leg. I could see that being an opportunity for Khamzat to grab his leg and potentially get a takedown with it. But Robert Whittaker is very good at keeping range. He's got a good jab, a good hopping side kick. He's just quick, and he's constantly moving. Gerald Meerschaert looked scared shitless, and, we saw why. He had good reason to be. But Robert Whittaker is not going to act that same way. And Robert Whittaker is used to taking... Khamzat Chimaev's huge for welterweight. He is not that big for middleweight. Middleweight and the gap between middleweight and welterweight is a big one. Every other weight class up until 170 to 185 is a 10-pound gap. And then with 205 and 185 and 185 and 170, there's bigger gaps. So Robert Whittaker is used to fighting much bigger men. But the thing is that he was once a welterweight also. So size-wise, they're not going to be much different. But the difference is that Robert Whittaker has a lot more experience fighting bigger guys. I honestly think Bobby Knuckles could get this one done. Another good thing that Robert's got going for him is the amount of head kicks he throws. Like, he does not shy away from throwing head kicks, even if it doesn't land. He'll throw that same combo, 1-2 head kick. Everybody knows it's coming, yet he still manages to land it. I don't know how Kelvin Gastelum ate that shit. I don't know how Yoel Romero ate that shit, but we saw him knock out. If I'm remembering correctly, he hit Derek Brunson with that, and that was the beginning of the end in that fight. And same with Jacare. But he doesn't shy away from the head kicks. And Jacare was someone who he would not have wanted to get takedown against, right? The head kicks prevent... The head kicks are not as easy to catch for a takedown. You have to address it. You have to block it, both hands preferably. You're not going to try and catch that kick. If you fuck up catching that kick, you'll go to sleep. And as far as striking, like in the striking department, Khamzat Chimaev has power for sure. Like, he one-punched Meerschaert. That was a savage KO. But we saw him against Gilbert Burns not look the cleanest we've ever seen. He's not a bad striker by any means, but he's definitely not clean. Like, he's not, it's not his shit, dude. He's a grappler. He fucks you up on the ground. He'll submit you. He'll beat the shit out of you on the ground, whatever he does. Striking's not his first art, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Who am I to say? But he's a little sloppy. And I'm not trying to shit on him. I know a lot of people love Khamzat, but if Gilbert Burns cracked them and dropped them. Gilbert Burns can hit hard as shit. But if you're fighting that sloppy on the feet against Robert Whittaker, like if Whittaker is able to defend a few takedowns early on and kind of make Khamzat hesitant to shoot again, you can't be that sloppy on the feet with Robert Whittaker. Like, that's why we saw Marvin Vettori is fucking huge. He weighs like 230 pounds outside of camp. That guy's massive. Kelvin Gastelum's got a head fucking twice the size of mine, and I've got a big head. Okay? Like, he is used to fighting big men. And you cannot be that sloppy. That's why he beat those guys the way that they did. Their striking is not their strong suit. I know we know Kelvin Gastelum for knockouts and shit like that. And his boxing's pretty crisp. But all in all, he's a wrestler, and he, that was his first, why can't I think of the word? His first discipline was wrestling. He was not primarily a striker. And Marvin Vettori, same thing. So if he is fighting, if Rob can stuff a few takedowns and he has to start fighting him, because with Gilbert, it was almost like that. Like, he went to the ground with Gilbert and then realized, oh, this guy might actually be a bit of a danger down here. I'm going to get up and strike with him. It won't be that. It will be, I can't get this guy. I can't keep this guy down. Like, I don't see Khamzat being able to pick up Whittaker and dump him the way he did the Leech. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see that happening. I honestly think Robert Whittaker could get a finish. And I know that's funny to say, or may sound crazy to some. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with this take, and that's fine. I want to hear your disagreements in the comments below. Put them there. Let me have it. I don't care. Khamzat Chimaev obviously has never been finished, and Robert Whittaker does not get a whole lot of finishes as of late. He did on his way up, but as with a lot of guys, I talked about this with Josh Emmett on my my prediction video for UFC 284. On his way up to the top of the rankings, he was KOing dudes, and then once you're fighting better competition, it's a lot harder to get those finishes. Also, Robert Whittaker was fighting a fucking orc. Okay? Marvin Vettori's an orc. So I don't know how you knock out an orc. You would need a Urukai or a Urukai, however the fuck you say it, to finish him off. Robert Whittaker's not that. And Kelvin Gastelum, as I said, his head is fucking massive. He has no neck. So good luck rattling that brain around enough to KO him. And then before that, we've seen him with Izzy, and Izzy's very, very, very hard to hit cleanly. So he almost knocked out Cannonier. He almost got to finish there. But I could see him head kicking Chimaev. Chimaev's too sloppy on the feet, man. And if Whittaker can stuff a few takedowns, make Khamzat think twice about shooting, next thing you know, we've got a kickboxing fight with Robert Whittaker. And, you know, you struggled with Gilbert Burns on the feet. And Gilbert Burns is incredible. I love Gilbert Burns. He's a great fighter. Awesome personality, in my opinion. I know he's not maybe like the funnest or most entertaining guy to watch. Funnest isn't a word, so fuck me. But, or is it funner? That's not a word. Besides the point. He's a super nice guy, and it's like wholesome fun when you watch him in his interviews. He's just so happy and so smiley. But again, he's not primarily a striker. He's a savage on the feet. He hits hard as shit. He dropped Usman, right? But he's a jiu-jitsu guy. Robert Whittaker, I think, would fuck up all these guys on the feet. That's just my humble opinion. I think Robert Whittaker would have beat Usman if he would have been able to make 170. And I know make 170 healthily, because I know he got KO'd by Wonderboy. But Wonderboy is different kind of striker, okay? So there is obviously a chance Khamzat can win. I'm not saying that he's got no chance. He may be able to get Bobby Knuckles down and smash and submit, but I just don't see that happening. And Robert Whittaker has been working a lot on his grappling. We saw him take the back of Israel Adesanya, which is not an easy task, especially against a guy that's like almost half a foot taller than you. And then he was the only guy so far that was able to like take him down and hold him for even if it was just a little bit of time. He was the only guy that was able to do it. And Marvin Vettori's fucking hell of a lot bigger than him. So yeah, all in all, I think Robert Whittaker gets this one done. I could see, depends, if this is I hope this is a main event, just in case we don't get an early finish from Khamzat. I would like to see these guys go 5 rounds. I would like to see Khamzat go 5 rounds. I would like to see him pushed. I want to know where his cardio's at. And I would imagine it's better at 185 than it would be at 170. His cardio seemed to hold up pretty good against Gilbert Burns. In all honesty, like the third round, I think he won the third round. I can't fucking remember that. That fight was crazy. I may have to go back and rewatch that. I've watched it a couple times, but yeah, because he got dropped in the second. So the second would have gone to Gilbert at the end, right? And then and the third round went to him. So he was able to, in the third round, come back and, secure that round and secure a victory with it. But had that fight had 2 more rounds in it, I don't know. He was starting to look a little sloppy. And in fairness, so was Gilbert Burns. But we know Robert Whittaker can go 5 rounds. He's done it countless times. Like, the guy's a 5-round fucking machine. And I know he said he doesn't like doing main events, but I would really like to see a 5-round fight between these two. I think that the likelihood of Whittaker finishing him gets higher if it's a 5-round fight. I think a 4th or 5th round finish is not crazy to say for Bobby Knuckles. He may be able to get it done in the 3rd round if it is a 3rd round, a 3-round fight, pardon me, but yeah, I could see him setting a trap, making Khamzat dip his head with that 1-2. He does it perfectly. That is one of the most beautiful combinations, in my opinion, in all of MMA. But, by the way, I'm a huge Robert Whittaker fan. I'm slightly fucking biased. But when he throws the 2, He's not throwing it to hit you, and he throws it angled inside. Like, he's not throwing it straight. He's throwing it inside that way, because he wants you to put your head to the outside so you can follow up with the head kick and hit you. And sometimes he'll even post it. Like, he doesn't even throw it as a punch. He'll have open hand, and he'll kind of keep your head there. Throws it like that, and then the kick comes right after, and you're fucking done. So, all that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. I want y'all to let me know who you think would win this fight. I'm quite proud of my thumbnail. Thank you very much. I think it looks fucking badass. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please don't forget to subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year. I'm going to thank you in advance once again, because I'm Canadian, eh? So thanks very much, eh? And I'll see you at the next one. Have a good one. See ya. Fail. The record button didn't stop. Like and subscribe. I'll see you later. Ta-ta.